Yo, what up, what up? From HYPEBEAST Radio, I'm Manny, and this is Mic Line, a show that looks to discover the origin story of your favorite artist or major player in the music industry. We ask the questions that you always wanted to get answered, and you never know who may pop by. For this episode of Mic Line, we talk to Big K.R.I.T about the 2011 XXL Freshman class, his new music, facing adversity, and so much more. Welcome to Mic Line. Okay, this is a new episode of Mic Line. We're back in the office for this one, which is pretty cool. Hey. And definitely want to I'm happy, and also want to introduce a guest that someone I've been a fan for years since he was a freshman.
Appreciate it.
In XXL. So I'll let him introduce his name. And
hey man, it's your country cousin, Big K.R.I.T, third court representative, Mississippi native. You already know what it is.
So I think I first got introduced to your music. It was because of Freshman, and I was like, yo, I have never heard anyone sound this amazing and this Southern since like, I want to say UGK.
Hey, thank you.
Since like, it was Pimp, and I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Appreciate it.
So I guess, how long ago was that?
Was that 2011?
2011?
Yeah, that freshman cover came out. That was right before Return Forever came out, and then K.R.I.T was here was before that, 2010.
Yeah. And people argue that's the best one. That's the best one.
I mean, well, at least they compete. Like, I'm comparing me to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at that. I mean, most of the time people create memories with music, and I realized that too. Like the first time they heard the music, they was going through this, they was dealing with that. And this is kind of pre-social networking where you're always filming, or the moment isn't the moment because you're trying to record it. And so when people be like, yeah, man, that was boom, 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 normally it's because they was in college or they was finishing their test, and it was like, so it's like, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
That was a class, and that was a special one because that was a class with Mac Miller, right?
Oh yeah, the cover definitely was Mac. It was Mac, Meek Mills, Lil B, Kendrick Lamar, Yellow Wolf, Saha the Prince.
That's crazy.
Diggy Simmons, Lil Twist, Fred the Godson.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not missing
I
anybody.
think that's it. Was that your first time meeting like majority of them? Did you meet
No,
anyone?
I met everybody pretty much. That was my first time meeting Lil B, Lil Twist, and Diggy.
Okay.
But I know pretty much everybody before that.
First time meeting Lil B. What's your thoughts?
Marketing genius kind of vibe. Like, you realize like people had a misconception, but he understood branding and marketing. I think before a lot of people did. It was like this very independent move. Yeah. I mean, but obviously there's like attached to the shock value aspect, but he technically had been popping before then with the pack and all that. Yeah. But if you knew, you knew. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So you got a new album out.
Yes.
It's been going really well. And I guess first thing I want to ask is like, why do you think it was now for the sequel for K.R.I.T Was Here?
Well, I mean, K.R.I.T was here, 10-year anniversary happens next year. And then it was me kind of closing the gap, bringing it more full circle. But then also, like, there's a lot of people that were aware of my music, knew what I was doing, but now I'm finally in this confidence space that I've never been in before, this freedom I got, this independence that I got, and putting it into the music, and also being able to talk about it. Like, I know I belong in this arena of hip hop. I know lyrically where I stand. I know what I bring to the game of music, and then what my catalog stands for, and then what this brand is. And I have these people that support me, not only as far as my team that I move with on a business level, but just people musically that are there, and they want to see me in a certain light. And it's finally time for like me to be right there with it. Like, nah, we here. Yeah. I think that's what this album is pretty much all about, on top of me just being happy, bro. Like, it's different now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What caused for the happiness? I guess what made that?
Man, just realizing that I'm competing with myself, and there's nothing wrong with that. Not really chasing where my peers get accolades. Creating the kind of music that reflects me in the moment, not necessarily worrying so much whether people get it now. Maybe they'll get it later on, a few years, but it's art, and me staying true to my art and to my experiences as I go through life. And then, coming off of a major label and then starting to realize as a businessman that we've always been right as far as the people that I've been working with, as far as not only my imagery or what I do video-wise or what we bring to the table, but just the concepts that we've had over the years, and that we've built this strong foundation, and we can tour. We put out the music we want to put out, and then people show love because naturally we go everywhere and we keep these positive relationships with everyone, from back when streaming wasn't a thing, like back when you had radio reps, and people want to help, man. And so it's like, it's just different freedom, man. It's just happiness, and I want to put it in the music.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? The more I think about it, and I honestly think it has to do with like as I just get older and more experience in just life and in this industry, at first I thought of music as a sport. People usually be like, music is a sport. You know, you want to compete with your peers and put out the best body of work you can. But the more I think about it now, I really think music should be considered less sport and more art.
Yes.
Whereas you wanted to put out your truest, your best work that's original for you, and to not look at it as a sport, because with sport comes like you have these designated accolades like MVP, comeback player of the year,
stats,
all-star, stats.
Best six man.
There's no really stats in music. No. And even with streaming now, it's still very skewed because a lot of this shit is just like, all right, now you can sell albums with merch. So if your merch is popping, you automatically such and such get like 500,000, and like people may not even know who you are. Yeah. So when I think about it now, I really do think music should be considered, and the narrative should be pushed towards art, because that's where artists can then, or musicians can then focus on putting out their best work. Yeah. And also not worrying too much about like what the left or right's doing. So I guess in me sharing your thoughts, what do you think about?
I mean, there's always going to be analytics to anything you do. There's going to be stats. There's going to be, oh, you did this, you did that. But there's no real way to put into numbers when people hear a song and it affects them emotionally. And then when they go back and decide to listen to it, maybe a month, 2 months, whether it still affects them the same way. And I think if the music is timeless, then whether I sell 1 million now or maybe I sell 1 million 15 years from now, it's still going to equate to the worth that it deserves, right? Totally. It just takes time. I think we get so caught up in that first week sale, and then everything else kind of doesn't matter. When technically, if it's supposed to be timeless music, you probably didn't have time to digest my music. Maybe you heard it and you weren't in the right space to digest what I was saying. It might take you 10 years and you finally get it, you know, but we just got to stop maybe diving too far into the analytics. Sometimes it's like, man, if I made a great piece of work, you know, it might take me to leave this earth for you to finally understand, but that's what art is. It's like, you're not going to immediately get it. Like you're going to keep going back and be like, man, that brushstroke was amazing. Yeah. Oh man, now I understand. Or I'm finally turned 30 and you're more patient to sit there for an hour and just look at it.
Yeah, like, exactly.
You know, and that's with music. That's damn near with anything you do. Yeah. Finding that patience to digest and pay attention and observe what somebody had to go through to create that. Yeah.
Because one thing I think I see a lot of artists suffering through, especially hip hop, is that the whole notion, which I think some of, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, I think some of it was was placed on you, or just like people aren't giving me my just dues. And then you have this now, it's not like we're even chip, it's just like anger. Just like
it's a bitterness. Yeah,
it's just like, you know, and I feel like sometimes that could affect things the wrong way, that energy, or could affect things the right way. But I feel like especially with artists, the negative energy could skew your creative process. And I feel like when listening to this, it was like really much like I'm just making stuff that I want to make, and I'm just putting it out there for you.
I think back, like there's no way I could have contacted Biggie when he was making any of his music, Tupac, Outkast, UGK. There's no way I could have like sent them a message and then they respond to me based off of whatever they were dealing with the music. They just made the music. They probably went away for a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, and then came back, and I had to wait, right? And I was just excited, like they're back. I think now you do have the option to like immediately contact the artist at the moment. And then we're also trained to like, we can have so many positive comments, but then we see one negative and we're going to pay that the most attention. That when you're creating, it's such a delicate process, and it could be anything, whether you're doing music, whether you're sketching, you could be an athlete. It don't matter, like you designing clothes, a model, like whatever. The minute somebody is like, you're not doing that right, that throws you off of whatever your natural pattern of dealing with your creative process might be. And it's such a delicate thing. So when you complete an album, it might take you a year and a half to make it, and somebody breaks it down within maybe 40 minutes and then writes whatever the review is of it, that can be hindering to you when you know that a 3-minute long, 30-second song took 8 months to make. Like it's a challenging process, and over time you have to just become accustomed to it. Everybody's gonna have an opinion about your art. this is the first time I think culturally that you've been able to see the opinion. As soon as you put it up, you get exactly what people think of it in the moment. And it comes with a certain amount of discipline now where you just gotta, you know what, I can't internalize that. But back in the day, people just thought what they thought and you continue on. And maybe it's a write-up by somebody that is super prestigious, you pay attention, but other than that, it's not like you're gonna have like 3,000 comments about it.
Yeah.
It's a totally different day and age now.
Yeah. Looking at some of the interviews you've done, I saw that one of the things you did differently with this project is that you kind of gave the keys to other people to like either whether it's producing or just, you know, guidance, I guess. What allowed you or what made you want to be like, you know what, let me move a step back to go a step forward?
I mean, obviously, and I told the people this, I was able to be a part of Rico Love music conference. And Mace was on stage and he pretty much challenged me in front of 500 people to, you know, he felt like I was doing a disservice to the people that supported me by not making bigger music sonically. I'm like still being myself, but this palette of music, not making it bigger, right? And so I was like, Ben, I'm up for the challenge. And so I was able to get in the studio with Danger, had a record with Khalil, and then we dropped TDT, right? And so I'm seeing this resurgence. People excited to hear me rap on other folks' beats. I'm like, damn. And then even with my team, shout out to Dutch, my manager, and Steve-O, my marketing manager, and trying to create a project where it's like, I'm not necessarily telling this elaborate story, but when thinking about critics here, like trying to create the best music sonically I could at the moment that reflected where I was at, and it'd be free and independent. And so I was able to get in with DJ Camper, Wallace Lane, Music Major, Tay Beast, with the Michaels, Don Corleone. Lord forbid if I'm forgetting anybody. But it's like working with other people just brought out something with me creatively writing that was different. And I learned on a production level because I only produced one record on this entire album, which is totally new for me.
Rico Love was a major part of this project.
Yeah, Rico Love co-executive produced the album along with my manager Dutch.
What were the things he was telling you during this process of making the project?
Man, stay country, definitely. Super lyrical, stay that, but figuring out different cadences and pockets, or when I go to write about it, how do I make it to where it's more around conversation? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm talking about my personal experience, but there's certain words, there's certain ways you can write where you don't make it where it's just this time period now, where it kind of lives further than that. And then cadence carrying was a thing too, where I could write the whole song and everybody like, that's just jamming, but you way too comfortable. This is what you normally do. How would you approach this differently? And then now I'm sitting back down and I'm taking more time out to write, and that changes the narrative of how I'm using my vocal tone, what I'm saying on the record, and the patterns and the cadences, which was necessary because you sometimes need people like, man, you sound like you kind of taking it easy on yourself. Like, nah, bro, keep writing.
You talked about previously, and I was like, wow, that's low-key brilliant. I was like, you talk about country and Southern. And there's always like something like I just couldn't name before, but when you said it, I was like, yo, that's a real thing. Because there's a lot of Southern artists, but it's not a lot of country artists. And so you emphasize you want to keep it country. And there's certain artists who like, that's why there's people gravitate towards them. Like one of the things that come to mind, Baby Mother, I think she's like an amazing artist, but also has a distinct country vibe to her that makes it so appealing. What is the explanation for you? What is the difference about Southern and country?
I mean, again, it goes back to geography, I think, just a tad bit. And I think about vacation destinations, like places that you knew where it's like, I get the opportunity to get some money, I want to go here. You know what I'm saying? And I tell everybody, there's a country part of everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like there's an outskirt where people are like, you know what I'm saying? Then you have metropolitan cities. And so from where I'm from, it's one of those situations where people don't necessarily want to go. And like I got to travel to different places to promote my music. And then the minute that I walk up and they're like, where you're from, they can already tell. And I tell them where they're from, that might change how they digest my music. And being from the South is obviously third coast, no doubt about it, but there's country aspects of the third coast as well. And so again, looking at a Pimp C and a Bun B and UGK, and the idea of making country rap tunes. Like not Southern rap tunes, country rap tunes. It's a different perspective of being country. And where people don't necessarily want to go all the time, and then trying to bring them to that place, which might be just an hour outside of a city that they naturally would go to because they heard about it so much. Like,
what is like? I'm trying to picture what is that place that's an hour away look like? What is that country place?
It looks
or
just
that experience?
like it just is homegrown. It still got buildings. It's still a city. It still got roads. Still got people driving their cars and working their jobs, but it's just not the metropolitan city. It's a grassroots. It may not have a lot of traffic. The jobs that you do have might not be the most paying jobs, but you're proud of the job you have. Definitely the whole, it takes a village to raise a child perspective. Normally everybody in that town knows everyone, from the people that police the neighborhood to the teacher that'll whoop you because your grandmama know them. Like, it's one of those situations. And having that mentality, I think it helped me maneuver throughout life with treat people how I want to be treated, right? And it's always this, you know what, I'm gonna give you this positive energy today. Maybe you need it. Waving, smiling at people, even though I don't know them, because where I'm from, it's like, it's just a courteous thing to do.
I only assume that it definitely helps you with the hustle because because there is no quote like media person out there. You have to like do it.
You gotta travel.
You gotta travel.
Yeah, you gotta travel. You gotta put the CDs in the trunk. You gotta go from city to city. You gotta promote yourself and promote where you're from, and then you're gonna run into those barriers where people already have a misconception of where you're from, and you have to, you know, be willing to change that narrative. And then I was bitter early in my career with when people didn't understand. I've never been, but now it's like, I'm just trying to get you to come. Like, how can I get you to go there and to see that it's not what you saw in the movies. It's not the joke punchline. Like, no, it's actual a society. It's actual creatives. It's beautiful. Like, it's something to experience, like you experience everywhere else.
Yeah. Do you remember in your younger days where you were literally driving with the CDs in the trunk? What were some of the things that you experienced or the places you went to? Something that popped in mind.
I was just going to Jackson. Like, I literally be going to Jackson. I had beats, and I was riding with my homie Money Black at the time, which was the first person to actually record my vocals. He gave me the equipment that I needed to record a lot of my first mixtapes, and I was going to see Charlie Braxton, which is this amazing writer. He used to write for Murder Dog, and I think there was like a showcase at the time in Mississippi, in Jackson. I can't remember what it was, and I remember playing him one of my beats, and I had sampled Wildflower by New Birth, and it was a confirmation and listening to him be like, yo, yeah, there's something, you know what I'm saying? Going to Birmingham with just a book bag with like the essentials in it, and staying in the studio and working in the studio for like 3 days, barely any sleep, not really going anywhere, eating whatever roughly, and creating a whole album with someone. Like, that was just a part of what I needed to do. I remember seeing David Banner in a red van, making beats in the back, rapping, pull up at a gas station, but he was headed somewhere other than where he was from to promote music. And that was just what I thought I needed to do to get my word, get my voice out there.
For this album, I definitely saw and also was curious about the idea of using social media as a tool. Not that curious, but people use social media as a tool for music in general. But then for you, for addiction, it was really cool to start a challenge. Yeah. And I guess I want to ask you just a couple of things, just because I'm curious about like how an artist thinks about using social media. Yeah. When you realized, all right, this is probably going to be the single, did you had a plan like we're gonna make this? Was there a plan like was this going to be a challenge? Are we going to use social media? Did you see the results after? Yeah. People be like, oh, we can make this into something.
Well, I think that the challenge thing for us started with the Glorious Challenge in the beginning, TDT. And that's once again a team effort thing. Like, normally, especially with this album, I was able to make the music, and then we sit down, and then everybody's like has great ideas, and collectively we like, oh, that's the one. But I think it goes back to like now social media can be used as like the best A&R ever. So some of these artists might have a little work to do, or they have a concept or whatever. But then there's some people that's like, oh, you're seasoned already. And maybe doing this challenge, maybe shining a light on them might give them an opportunity when you don't necessarily have people, you know, again, passing CD out ain't the same. You rarely got a CD player in your car, you know what I'm saying? But,
exactly.
You know, social networking has made it where somebody might click on something, they see all these likes and they see the comments, and they might give them an opportunity. You know, even with a producer, or shout out to all the muralists that did the murals Because even them, like, people cover art, like just art in general, people might dive in and look at more of their art other than what they did for me. And it's kind of like just shining light on everyone collectively, and then trying to give people the opportunity without not having to be signed, per se.
Did you see the, I guess, results of the challenge working where it's as like, wow, you saw the spikes?
Oh, yeah. No, definitely, man. And then the Diction Challenge is still going on now. But the Glorious Challenge was like, we had a winner, and then seeing what people connecting with that. And then I'm excited for whatever project that a lot of those people drop after this. But it's just, again, like giving somebody the opportunity to like shine, right, on this platform. People may not have known about them, but hopefully they know now, and they actually go to iTunes or whatever social media platform that they actually have their music at and listen, because everybody gonna go platinum eventually.
Yeah. So seriously. What's it like now that being an independent when you came from a major? What adjustments do you have to make?
Well, it's weird, man. I was always maneuvering as an independent artist, even when I was on a label. I just think a lot of the things that are happening now, it's like more of a resurgence. So it's kind of like trying to tap back into that energy and like that. I mean, I already got the hunger, but it's almost like I'm starting over again with certain aspects and being aware of that. And the challenges with transforming from CDs that can be in a Best Buy, that could be in a Walmart, they're no longer there, and having to kind of bring people with you to the streaming aspect. But the most thing for me is like getting out of my comfort zone musically, man. Listening to people around me that are great at what they do as well. And willing to let them kind of give me their opinion or the constructive criticism and taking it in and like literally like, I bet that makes more sense. Because back in the day, I'm in the studio, I made a beat, I got the hook, I'm writing the verses, this is the album. Now it's like, well, how y'all feel about this? Y'all think I should go harder? Like, who you think you think somebody else should be on this hook? Like, just making it more like a collective thing and asking people and not being so bitter when they're like, yo, brother, you singing on this hook, but you ain't singing that good. Like,
That's honestly, that's pretty dope to hear, because, and also really enlightening, because sometimes I wonder how is criticism received? Because there's definitely a difference between criticism and I think just straight up hating. Yeah. I think and also is...
You could take something from all of it though. Okay. It's all fuel. You just gotta, some of it's gonna take you farther down the road than others. Yeah. Right? You can be fueled by the negativity, but it's gonna take you a different kind of path, different road. But it's fuel.
For someone like you, how can you tell the difference? Like, when can you tell? How can you tell? Or do you look at, all right, if I'm only talking... if my peers come to me and say, or certain people come to me and say, hey, can be this, I'm gonna listen to that. But a review on Pitchfork, for instance, when do you be like, that's just fucking bullshit, they don't know what they're talking about?
So the thing is about reviews, man, I gotta also, I literally had this whole situation happen not too long ago, a few days ago. And upon the conversation, you have to understand that everybody's gonna have an opinion. Then I gotta think about, do they know where I'm from? Do they know what it took for me to get to this point? Did they just start their job? Are they trying to keep their job? Are they a new writer or older writer? Or do they love my older stuff and they can't get with what I'm at now? Like, is it a regional thing? Do they have 15s in their car? Like, do they understand the bass aspect? And there's so many narratives that could make somebody totally not rock with your stuff. Yeah. And it's kind of like, you know what, man? It's all good. And I knew how much it took for me to make this. The person that's probably writing it could not have done what I did. And so I cannot let that opinion dictate how I move forward after that. I just got to take it with a grain of salt. There might be a small thing in there that might be like, oh, okay, I bet that's what. But other than that, man, it's art. And so we talking about art, man. Like, some people like, man, that ain't art. Then some people like, man, that is art. Yeah. And it's left to the eye of the beholder, man, at the end of the day. Yeah. And I know I'm gonna still be around.
Yeah. Like, exactly.
So it's okay. This the one review of many that everybody going like, you got to keep doing.
Because this is about to be year 10. We want to almost that. And so I think that's something that doesn't happen, I guess, often. No. Someone especially on your level, where you're still making music at a high level, people are still looking for your music, masses are still looking for your music, you can still tour wherever you want, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like it's now more than ever pretty cool to see, and also not happening as much as you think. It's just like running backs in the NFL. It's like,
Yeah, your knees get bad early. Your knees can get bad early.
You got those couple of good years.
Or you got the contract that's weird, so you Barry Sanders the situation.
Exactly.
And you just out. Like, all right, what happened?
Exactly.
I'm just done because they won't let me go. It's levels, yeah.
Exactly, because somebody, I don't know how, but I was watching Sean Alexander highlights when he was on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, dude, this dude was the best running back in the world. And then he was gone. And so I feel like, and I'm just comparing running backs to rappers, there'd be times where like you have these super high peaks and we're like, this is it.
Yeah.
And then like literally a year and a half happens and it's just gone. But you someone that had been here consistently, like everywhere in the news, everywhere for like a decade now.
Yeah.
What do you credit that to?
Okay, well, first off, I will say that football players take physical contact.
Yes.
So their job is totally different than mine.
I would say rappers take a ton of emotional
We take
trauma.
emotional contact.
Emotional.
Which is not quite like, look, I can, even if I got bad knees, I can write rhymes. Like, you hard pressed to run that football. You know what I'm saying? You got bad knees playing. So I want to say to all the running backs out there, hey, it's an analogy.
Yeah, very
no
much
words,
so.
but
Very
like,
much so.
I'm not even gonna say like, yeah, because I'm thinking of Emmitt Smith, like, Emmitt, I couldn't have done what he did. You know what I'm saying? All sweetness, like, nah, you know what I'm saying? But for me, I think it's to understand, like, you have to grow, right? You grow. I mean, there's people I've been seeing in the crowd, people that have been supporting me since 2010. And as their lives have changed, whether they just got to college, whether they graduated, they just met the love of their life, they got married, they had kids or whatever. Like, we're all experiencing life on top of the music. So when we see each other again, it's like this reconnection, this family reunion, this family barbecue thing. And upon that, it's like, I cannot be K.R.I.T in 2010. And if I was, then I'm not growing as a human being at all. If I'm conceptually still there, then actually at that point, it's like I'm selling you wolf tickets at this point. Like, it's a terrible idea. Me as the K.R.I.T I am now, like, I have to bring you here. And if you are a young artist or a young listener, never heard my music before, you'll go back and you'll see the growth. If you're somebody that's not in the space that I am now, if you're still dealing with something emotionally, and I'm telling you, but I'm happy in my music, I'm praying, I'm hoping that you find that happiness and then you can celebrate along with me with the K.R.I.T here and then these other records that I've dropped, because I've found it in this moment of music when there was pockets like drinking sessions, but there was things going on like the loss of my grandmother, like the vent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there and we're there. But now it's like, I was happy, I'm free. And so I'm just creating music and creating my art based off how I am. And if you're not in that position or not there now, I'm praying you get there. And then we can celebrate. And then my next album is going to be how I feel in the moment too. Yeah. And it's always been like that.
Yeah. This is just popping in my head. I feel like albums are made because of experiences. Good albums are made because of good new experiences. When do you know when those experiences start and end? Like, when do you have in your head, it was just like, whoa, this has been a couple of 2 years that been insane. I think I'm ready to make this. I need to talk about this. Or as an artist, or is it just like you just create and then you look back later?
Conversations. A lot of the best songs, ideas that I've had have been full-blown conversations with people. And then you connect and you're like, oh, you feeling that way? Yeah, I'm feeling that way. And then like, yeah, I'm going through that too. Then you realize the whole room is in that same energy. So if this entire room is there, then there's other people outside this room that's there too. And so conceptually, it's like, well, this is a great concept. This is a great idea. Let me write about this. And then you see it at the shows. The songs that impact people the most, when you go to the show, you see that. And it's not the crunky song. It's not the song that's normally on the radio. It's that song when people are driving from their job to home, or they're driving from home to their job, or they're going through something, or they're cleaning up their house. This is the random record, but it hits across the board with everyone. And I've experienced that in shows. Was like, I didn't know everybody wanted a layup, and now we all singing layup, you know what I'm saying? Or
definitely,
you know, or the vent. I didn't. I mean, everyone's lost somebody. And now you see this, and I put those songs on there because I needed it. Yeah. And I was like, man, I don't care whatever, but I need this to go on there because I need people to understand. Drinking Session was for me. I went through something, and then you say like, damn, I didn't know how many other people were feeling like this. and you open us this entire conversation on record, which gives people the opportunity to talk about that in their everyday life with other people. And then now we all at a show experiencing and getting it off our chest at the same time.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, go see a K.R.I.T show. Your performances, your show is easily top 3 in hip hop. Just because hip hop artists, especially rappers.
Wow, thank you, bro. I appreciate
rappers,
that. I appreciate that, man.
They don't practice their shows, or it just doesn't translate.
Yeah.
But you go to the K.R.I.T show, you leave like, I seen a show, because the energy is crazy. Everybody's on their feet. It's just a different experience. And I'm just curious of like, what do you do before shows? You have like you practice? How long do you like game plan it?
We rehearse. We rehearse before the tour even start. Definitely if I'm a little rusty and we ain't performed in a while, I do like a small rehearsal. But more, man, I'm quiet, bro. Normally I'm nervous before a show because not only do I want it to be perfect, I mean that's like just my brain. Like I'm going through every song. I don't want to mess up. But then it's always this moment where I don't know how it's gonna go. Like I cannot. Like you know what? I don't know if I cut to the right and nobody's enjoying it. Like what am I gonna do? Like I don't know. And so it's not. And so once I get out there, like all that goes away. And now it's just this free flowing thing happening. And you have to. For me, it's like I give in to the energy now, like the positivity. Even the person that wants a particular record done, and I'm like, I'm not doing that today. But even figuring out a way to engage, like not today, but rock with this. And it becomes this thing where I'm not trying to entertain you. That's not what's happening on stage. This is me like, man, I believe in this so much. And y'all obviously believe in me enough to be here. So let's celebrate. Yeah. And it goes across the board. Like from the saddest song I got to the most high energy song. And that's why I built up for an hour and change. And we going in because it's been years of support and like wanting to tell people this. And like now it's like, we family. Yeah. Yeah. It feels like that at the show too. Like I remember watching you at Irving Plaza. This was Irving Plaza. But it was a long time too. Yeah.
I was just like, this is fucking madness.
Yeah, but look, man.
It was amazing.
It's crazy. Like I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed for it to be multi. We family. Yeah. It's multi to the sun die. Exactly. Yeah, and then K.R.I.T is bigger than me now. Q.R.I.T is bigger than me now. But I am the biggest of K.R.I.Ts. But still, it's like everybody should strive to be a king or a queen in their life. And so we all coming there to celebrate that.
I totally forgot to ask this, but I wanted to ask you, Mount Rushmore of country rap, who would you
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow.
I wrote that down. I wrote it down. I was like, don't forget this.
Man. Mount Rushmore country rap. Country rap, obviously UGK. Yeah. Would be up there. 8-Ball and MJG would be up there. I mean, Outkast, Savannah, y'all gotta give that to them. I'm naming groups right now, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Country rap. Man, look. Project Pat was a monster, man.
Yes.
Like lyrically, like y'all people sleep on him, man. Like Cheese and Dope. Man, like, who else?
Project Pat.
Who else? That's difficult.
Yeah, I know. I threw it out.
That's difficult. I ain't even put myself in this list. You know, I'm just talking about everybody else right now. I got to throw David Banner on there. Yeah. Because you're talking about producing and rapping. Yeah. Player Fly. Flizz coming. Nice. Yeah. Give me a second.
No problem. Take your time.
Damn, cuz.
I know. I should have given you
that was dead. You should have.
I want to give you the heads up 5 minutes before, before I get you the water. I'm gonna ask you this a little bit later. That was
one for email. Who else? Damn,
it's a lot. It's a lot. We put a pin. Now you did good. That was really good.
Yeah, for now. You ask me that next year. I got more people. Anybody I forgot that I'm a fan of, so sorry.
You have to talk about royalty and you talk about kings and queens a lot. Yeah. And this is something that you've been doing since throughout your musical career. Yeah. How important is that outlook? How important for you is to put that message out?
Man, the thing about wanting to be great, or like the idea of success, it literally is the perspective of what you feel like you like what you've done. Mm-hmm. You can get really easily caught up in seeing what everybody else is doing and like lose sight of what your greatness is. And the reason that multi-alumni is the idea of playing multiple positions to ensure the success in your life. Mm-hmm. And then being the first person that you know to do it. Becoming a hybrid in a game where maybe you didn't have the resources you needed necessarily to get to where you needed to go. Mm-hmm. To be a king or a queen of what you're doing means that you especially King Remember the Time or Queen Remember the Time, means that you know that you'll never be as great as everybody else will see you in the moment. Like, you can never become complacent. You always have to strive to do more and more and more. And people will celebrate that idea once you're not here anymore. And so that was the motivation behind me being like, man, I'm never going to be as good as I think I am. I'm never going to be as great as I think I am. Like, I can always go harder. I could be doper. The albums could be crazier. The lyrics could be better. The beats could be crazy. The shows could be bigger. Like, and always pushing myself in that direction, whether people saw it or not, whether people understood it or not. If I wake up like that every day, I'm always going to hit this level of not only success in my mind frame, but this level of greatness that means something to me. Mm-hmm. And then I just let everyone else recognize it later on, you know, so.
No, I think that's super important just because you don't get that a lot. Well, you get that in some aspects of music, but sometimes I feel like most recently, not rap as much. But it's good to hear that, you know, just a reminder.
Man, yeah, look, there's people that's been doing this way longer than me, that I'm pretty sure as an artist, they get in like, bro, I gotta go harder. I gotta be just as hungry as I was when I first started.
Exactly.
And I think that's great for music. Like, challenge yourself always.
Yeah. Producing wise, how hard is it now for you as producer for samples or?
Oh, super difficult.
I'm just like, I know there's I heard a bunch of songs from artists, whatever, that are crazy, but because of a sample, it's like, oh, we can't put that out.
Oh, for the sample purpose. It's not that difficult for me.
Okay.
Only reason I say that, because if somebody samples me, I would hope that they would hit me up or hit up whoever owns my catalog, or look out later on in life. I totally understand. Like, when I approach a sample and like I'm remixing it, something for the album, it takes a long time for me to actually use the sample, because I want to make sure I do it justice, because this was a complete idea before I actually used it. Right? And that artist or that producer or that writer felt like this was it. This was enough. And I've been blessed that even on this album, like, the people that do good samples, and I get to use father and mother's music or whoever owns the catalog to show love, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it comes with the territory. But now I'm trying to make music that other people want to sample.
Yeah.
I think that's my time. I like to create where it's like 15, 20 years down the line, somebody would sample me.
Yeah.
But it just comes with the nature of hip hop, man. Hip hop is sampling in the beginning, right? But you learn, and you go through the people that might not like what you did, which is totally in their right to do. You remake, or you rethink, or you just do it all over again. But that's the nature of using another complete idea to make a song.
Yeah. I was looking through your Instagram. We're just looking through social media, and I saw that you did the release event at Blue Flame.
Oh no, we did it at a planetarium first.
Yeah,
and then we went to Blue Flame and turned it to a ballet.
That's the most genius thing I've
ever saw. Thank you. Look, crazy thing is, shout out to my manager Dutch and Hannah, because I mean, the song was a thing. Like, all right, bet, and then to actually walk up and I'm seeing my name create on the side of Blue Flame. Then it's like ballet dancers outside, and this is orchestra outside, and I'm like mind blown. And they playing Blue Flame ballet like with the strings and shit. I was tripping. Then you go inside, and it's women in onesies. They got me this cake and shit. Hey, this is crazy.
I was like, man, I love Blue Flame.
Yeah. Oh, yo, see, damn, you should have been there, because I love Blue Flame.
I was so mad. I was like, damn.
Bro, it was love, and it was just, again, bringing that prestige to things that people may feel like either they don't know about, they never experienced, or they think whatever. But it's like in the whole idea is high end country shit. Yeah. But bringing the prestige is something that I've enjoyed and experienced, for years now.
I try to go down there. I was trying to go to Atlanta because it also got great wings.
I try to go there as much as possible when I'm in Atlanta. They got maybe 4 or 5 times a year.
They got really great wings. Yeah. I think Blue Flame, that's a spot in Houston. Damn, what's it? Not Dream. It's an X. I was just there.
You're a frequent you're a frequent strip club goer.
The South is just a different. And I tell people, like, never go to a strip club in the North.
Oh my God, I ain't gonna look. I ain't gonna say that. I can't say that. You said that. I try to turn the ballet to any, like, we could bring the ballet to any strip club now. But Well, you keep
the
going.
South is just different. It's just so much better. And I'm so mad I can't remember. It was a Houston strip club.
Yeah.
It's where they did like I don't know if I should say this, but
No, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. But they did a release event after for a release event.
Okay.
In Houston. I'm so mad. I forgot the name of it.
Is
it V Live? I think is it V Live?
V Live sounds familiar.
Maybe V Live.
Yeah, I never got food in V Live.
It may be V Live. Wings of Fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Blue Flame and V Live.
Yeah.
How often do you play baseball? Do you still go back?
What kind of segue?
I know. I thought Wing Sports. Makes sense.
Okay, man. Nah, I mean, I haven't been to the batting cage in a minute. There's not really many pickup baseball like games in Atlanta that I know of. Not even softball, but I plan on getting back into it. I think it'd be really dope if I like try it out for the Braves randomly.
That would be
on
fire.
My Rudy shit. Probably play one game, hit a home run, and then retire after that.
That would be fire.
We putting that in the air.
That would be fire.
Yeah, but I love baseball. Pretty sure I can still hit like a 92 mile per hour baseball either.
I didn't know baseball is such a wild sport because it's a different beast when you really staring down a fastball like oh yeah.
The fastball isn't as bad as somebody that can throw like an 85 mile per hour slider and a curveball, because that shit comes at you and then goes the totally opposite direction. Yeah, but fastballs are terrifying. But not like that curveball.
The slider is crazy.
Yeah.
But I really my love of baseball have grown over the years. At first, being from North with the Mets and Yankees, I always was around it, went to the game like as early as 7, but then watching it and appreciating it, I'm like, yo, this is a really beautiful sport.
Yeah.
Whereas it's both you're an athlete, but you also got to think a lot. Like, all right, how am I going to make this? You got to make changes. It's really tactical. But I would definitely would like to see more youth sports funnel into baseball, especially in like urban settings, urban areas. I guess, how did you get into baseball?
Well, I came in at the time where you still had the Sammy Sosas, Mark McGuire's, Fred McGriff's, David Justice, Ozzie Smith's. Yeah. Like you had Ken Griffey, you know what I'm saying?
Ken Griffey.
You had Kenny Lofton. There was so many baseball players that were like the face of the sport, but it was like the way they dressed, and it was just a swag that came with it. That was also like the power hitting era for real. So, you got the 70 home runs by Mark McGuire and all that. So playing baseball was like, still had this allure to it. And it still does now, but I think it's more of a pitching thing. Damn, I hate to say it might have anything to do with steroids, but still, it's more of a pitching sport now. But I don't know, man. It had its appeal back then. I think kids are getting into it now more. Yeah. I don't know what it would take to like bring it back, because basketball is like, oh yeah, it's like, but you get to, it might even be the amount of people that's on the field at one time. I mean, basketball, you got 5 people on the court, and that's different than having 9 people. I think the bench in baseball is a little bit larger, definitely. They play 162 games a season. Basketball is 82. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot different as far as how much you watch. When you watch, it's way more teams to watch for. So it's a lot more to digest. But where I was from, like, baseball was, for me, I couldn't dribble. I'm only 6'1". I would have been a point guard. Not that tall. Yeah. Wasn't that big, so I wouldn't be no running back. Yeah. Baseball fit for me.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, and I loved it. But it's a difficult sport now.
Yeah, it's super difficult. Yeah. Like, I didn't know how difficult it was. So, high school, I was like, oh, yeah, I can't play this.
It's a very, routine. Like, you have to get accustomed to, doing the same thing over and over again and being willing to let this baseball hit you in your chest. You gotta be willing to hey, you know what, man? I'm gonna stop this baseball. Fuck it. You know, it's one of those situations. Nice. And I was a catcher, so it was all if the pitcher throw it in the ground, I gotta get this baseball. Yeah.
And then lastly, we usually ask an artist, if someone came to you and was like, hey, how can I succeed in music? How can I become not just a star, but an artist who's here for the long haul? Okay. What would you tell that artist, that young artist?
First off, definitely invest in yourself. All the people around you at that very moment that are aware of who you are in the beginning, it's good to, if they believed in you and they're positive, to keep them around once you do find some kind of financial stability. Do not blow the very first advance you get if you do decide to sign to a label on jewelry and random miscellaneous things, conspicuous consumption. And that's not what you want to do. That money is definitely made for you to survive in the beginning of you making your first album. Know your worth, pay your taxes, get you an accountant, because you're not really gonna know what to do with the money that you actually gain. The last thing you want to do is get yourself in a financial situation early on. Yes, you can take care of your parents, you can take care of all your partners and your homies, but you have to curate a job for them, your parents, and understanding houses, leasing, cars, all this stuff. Very important in nature. And it's hard to say when you get $1 million and you're like 17 or 18. But you have to keep people around you that's not going to be eager to spend the first check you get, because it doesn't last forever. Understanding your royalties, streaming, masters, building your brand up underneath whoever you sign with, because that brand is going to carry you on out once you decide to be independent, because you probably will want to be once you start to see how the numbers is different. So yeah, it's a lot. Pay your taxes.
You just put out some of the best advice I think we had.
If you're an artist, find a producer to work with that rocks with you. If you're a producer, find an artist. Most tandems work. If you producer pop out first, the artist didn't come with them, or vice versa.
Nice. Thank you so much for taking your time out.
No doubt, bro.
Well, that's today's episode of Mike Line, and thanks for tuning in. You can listen to more episodes of Mike Line and everything Hypebeast Radio at hypebeast.com/radio. Subscribe to Mike Line on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, or wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at ECM_LP and follow Hypebeast Music for more original content. Let us know who you like to have on the show, and thank you for listening to Mike Line.